Ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are in the world, welcome to the first episode of The Good News Show. Woo! This is so exciting. Good news. This is the first episode.
Yeah.
How do you feel, Ryan?
Are we just going to keep doing good news each time?
No,
I feel great. I feel really good. I'm finally happy that we're accomplishing this goal. We've talked about this for a really long time.
Yeah.
So much negativity in the world, so many things, whether you're pro or against something, there's no middle ground. There's not like, you have an interesting point. It's more, you're wrong and I'm right. And I completely disagree with that mentality. And I love that you had that same mindset when we talked about this idea of creating a show that's about good news.
Well, that's how I got my start, into even thinking about making videos. It was back in 2011, and the elections were going on for President Obama and Mitt Romney.
Yeah.
And there was at the time I was cleaning porta potties. It was a crappy job.
Hey.
Anyway, and what I would do is I would just listen to the radio all day, and I would listen to talk radio to at least give me some sense of not being, alone all the time.
Because it's like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning when you do
4
this,
o'clock
right?
in the morning, 4:30 in the morning I would start, and then I would work all day, like 12, 15-hour days, especially in the summer. I'd work so much. And so I would need to have something to get my mind off of just cleaning porta potties. It's such a job that's so filled with repetition. And
It's
so
the same thing, right?
Yeah.
And so what, you just open that thing, you stick the little tube in, hope you don't get poop on you, and turn it on, right?
Everything you said is exactly what it is.
The one thing I've always wondered is, it's only you, right?
It's only me.
So how do you, when you stick that tube thing, into the poop, how do you know it's not going to come out? You know what I'm saying? Like, so you open the door, you stick the tube in there. This is just violent.
We are starting.
Very graphic.
We are starting the show.
This is good news. We're talking about manure.
Good news.
I guess not manure. It's human feces. But you know what I mean? You stick the pipe in. You turn that. You got to go back and turn it on.
No,
it doesn't fall out. Or is there a lock mechanism?
We'll do an episode where I go take you out. I'll contact the porta potty company, and I'll take you out and show you how to clean a porta potty.
You let us know in the comments if you want to see the good news about porta potties.
How to clean a porta potty. It's tough. I cannot sugarcoat cleaning porta potties. It is such a hard job. And going back to why I was listening to...
Before I interrupted you with poop jokes?
Yeah, it's fine. But I was listening to talk radio, and just everyone was arguing. And it's constantly putting things in the... And so I started to listen to positive podcasts, stuff that was just inspirational. And it's hard to explain just the feeling of peace that came, and it's just that's how I can explain it. Is I remember the day I said I'm going to start doing this, and it was just and cleaning porta potties, just feeling so inspired.
Just don't do that next to it.
Right? That's when ideas started to come into my mind about things I should do, and one of the ideas that came into my mind was I should start making YouTube videos, and I was like, okay. And so I went home that day, bought a camera, and started pursuing things. And 3 months later from that day, I was I was working at a job, and then shortly after that, I uploaded my first viral video.
Mm-hmm.
But it was because of listening to positive content and focusing on the good news in the world. And so I am so excited about doing something like this, because I'm just excited to see what could come from this.
So the theme this week is going to be science related. Mm-hmm. And the reason being, there were so many things that happened last week. You had May the 4th with Star Wars. Mm-hmm. May 5th is Space Day, which I don't know whoever claims that. I don't know how that works.
I've always known May 5th as it's Revenge of the 5th.
Oh, well, there you go. So they strike, space strikes back.
Yeah.
We want to do today's episode on space exploration. Talk about some interesting, cool facts about space, maybe something you haven't thought about before, and then some kind of interesting stories that kind of, just again, like Stuart's saying, spread the positivity and just make your day a little better.
Yeah. Plus, I just got back from Tokyo.
Yeah,
and
which
did
is
my
awesome.
Guardians of the Galaxy video, which will be released this week. So
I guess today, right, when this video comes out.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, actually today.
Yeah, I actually have a few questions to start out. So each episode we're going to do is start out a couple questions, get us talking about it.
Ask me questions, right?
So my question for
Quiz
you
me.
is, do you know what an astronaut means? I actually looked this up. This is kind of cool.
Astronaut.
So
I do not.
I'll give you the etymology. It's Greek.
Okay.
Not that helps you at all. It wouldn't help me.
I think astro, which
Yep.
would mean star.
Yep.
Right? And then not, is it
You're close.
traveler? So is it star traveler?
Close. So not. It's star sailor.
Oh.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
So an astronaut is someone that's like that's a star sailor.
Okay, if in 5th grade people were like, "Who wants to be a star sailor?"
Right?
I'd be like, "I want to be a star." I just never wanted to be an astronaut as a kid. People were like, "Do you want to be an astronaut?"
Never.
Like, I want to be an astronaut. That's such a. I was like, "Who wants to be an astronaut?"
Was it the math and the science, or the fact of going to space, like claustrophobia? What were you like? No, I'm out.
I think the fact that I could have died in space, like the thought and the idea of going out into space and flying around and then somehow getting disconnected from the ship. Have you seen Gravity?
Yeah.
That would be horrible because you're just floating. When I watched Gravity, I got filled with this anxiety of like, oh my, like what if that happened to me?
Yeah.
Because then you would have to like.
Well, the reason it's problem is it's not like drowning, which sucks, is terrible, but you're dead. Space is like, all right, well, I've got 6 hours left of oxygen.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like that mentality of like, what do you do? Like there's no way you're getting out. Like you ain't Sandra Bullock. It ain't happening. You're gonna die.
Oh.
Do you take that last 6 hours to really contemplate, or do you say goodnight and you take that's great? You know what I mean?
See, that's
both of those. Yeah.
That was my brain as a 5th grader.
There's a famous quote I love. I'm going to butcher who it was. I think it was the CEO of HP at the time, but she said, "Creativity loves constraint."
Yes.
And that is so true with anything you do. Like someone says, okay, you have that one video camera you got from that store, and you got to make YouTube videos. Like you got to do things that other people would think, oh, if I had money, I'll just get a better camera.
Yeah.
And so I think it's the same thing with space. They were like, you're in a small little thing in the middle. There's no oxygen, and that's where invention comes. So with anything you do, if you're constrained, if you feel, for example, we're constrained. I mean, there's not like this is the backdrop, but that constraint, like that gets you focused on what you're really trying to accomplish.
Well, good news, Ryan. Because of space exploration, we actually have a lot of really amazing inventions, and you know a lot about these. So I'm going to, I want you to explain.
Sure.
Because of NASA and because of space exploration, we have cordless tools. Why?
Yeah, so what happened was astronauts were trying to figure out on the moon, they wanted to take rocks from the moon and different things they needed power tools. And the problem with a long extension cord from the actual space, the actual pod, electricity, all that, so they basically said, look, we need to solve this. They got with Black & Decker, again, the creativity loves constraint, and they developed a battery that was useful enough to they can actually attach that and then use the tools they needed, and we still use it today.
Okay, already, like just you explaining that, if my teachers would have told me that being an astronaut and being in space exploration is for breeding creativity, I would have jumped on. Like, because I was like, oh yeah, they're like, oh yeah, what's the problem solving they're going to do?
Right?
That was amazing.
I think with the idea, and maybe it's not astronauts, it's really just engineers in general. The thing we forget is, there were 2 astronauts who actually landed on the moon.
Yeah.
But there were all these people in the actual NASA station who were solving all these things.
Yeah.
And I love that. Yeah, I get that same excitement where you get in your room and say, okay, here's our problem. We're limited by this. If you ever saw Apollo 13, that scene where they're like, this is all they have on there. Good luck.
Yeah.
I think that's fun.
Scratch-resistant glasses.
Yeah, so I actually have these. So
why do we have scratch-resistant
so
glasses?
Again, in space, there's a lot of flying material in space, debris, everything. So they had those visors, and they had to develop something that was effective because if you're out there, you can wipe it away, but if it's scratched, you're done.
Were these people like running into the problems, like getting too much scratching?
No,
or were they just like pre-thinking we're going to have this problem?
Pre-thinking. They had to do all because you think about that. You have to. It is insane for my mind to think they literally fired a guy in a rocket. You basically firing a missile with human beings attached to it, and they have to go into space, being fired, and then they have to solve an issue, have everything in that thing, and then land again safely.
So it's not.
It's crazy.
It's rarely is. It's kind of. I mean, there are a few things I'm sure that are like they figured out, but they had to do a lot of things before.
Well, I mean, you just think about the Tokyo video you made with Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah. I'm sure you had limitations.
Yeah.
You had 3 days to film.
Yeah.
You had very few. I mean, there's a lot of limitations, but you get interesting stuff from that.
Yeah. I mean, we literally, the idea was like, Guardians of the Galaxy is coming out. Would love to do this video. You brought up Tokyo, and I was like, let's try it. Like, there were so many times when I was like, no, but there was just this.
You have to fight it. You have to fight it.
There was this thing inside of me that is what got me started into making videos, and I could experience that again.
Yeah, and that's one really great thing space exploration does. Is it's a good example of how you can, when you're constrained, you can have such creativity.
Yeah,
and that's one thing I really take away from science is these inventions, all this stuff is that when you're constrained, think about space exploration, how they solve such big issues. You can solve those issues in your life.
Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. We want to leave you with a challenge. There's a phrase called 20 seconds of insane courage. It's highlighted in the movie We Bought a Zoo. And I want to give you guys a challenge, 20 seconds. Today, go out and just look up the stars. Go do it. Spend 5 minutes out and looking up the stars and just see what sort of creativity is bred from that.
Taking that moment, put away your phone, sit out there and just look at the stars. Just 5 minutes. Take 5 minutes. You can even set an alarm because you'll realize 5 minutes are a lot longer than you think. And just sit out there and think and let us know the thoughts that came to your mind, the inspiration you had. You can use the hashtag The Good News Show and let us know your thoughts. How did that experiment work? How did it make you feel?
Yeah. Also, if you would like to support our Patreon page, we'll put a link down below. We've got some great rewards. When we hit certain levels, we're going to develop this even more. So go check that out. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Stuart.
I'm Ryan.
This is The Good News Show. Have a good day.